So first I'm going to describe to you guys like what my experience was and like what the procedure was like. So I went into the room. There were two nursing assistants, and then there was the guy who was going to do the actual exam.
Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. Isaiah 26:3. Hey y'all, so I am on my way to my appointment to have this HSG test done. I'm on my way to Swanger, I think it's Passari Radiology, and I don't really know exactly what's going to happen in the procedure. I have looked, I've Googled it, I've looked online and tried to see like how is it going to go, and but I'm going to actually find out today. So when I finish, I probably will come back and kind of describe what the experience was like, and ultimately, like, was it painful or not? That's what I'm really afraid of, is like, please don't let it hurt, but we'll see. So guys, as you guys can see, I am here at the radiologist, and from the sign on the front you can see that they do a bunch of tests, different tests. So I am going to get ready to get out this car and go inside.
What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tikwa. If you are new here, welcome, and if you aren't, welcome back. I am sharing my journey of infertility here on my channel, and in today's video, it's been a few days since I have had a formal testing. So after my first doctor's visit, my doctor first wanted me to, I did blood work and everything with her the day after my visit, my first appointment with her, and then she automatically had me sign up to do what is called, I'm gonna say it for you, it's called an HSG test. It's pronounced hysterosalpingogram. I'm gonna put the word on the screen because I know I butchered that, but in short, it is called an HSG test. It is a test that is done through a radiologist. So what I did is I went to a radiologist about 2 days ago, and I had this procedure done. So first I'm going to describe to you guys like what my experience was and like what the procedure was like. So I went into the room. There were two nursing assistants, and then there was the guy who was going to do the actual exam. So they have you you sit down on a table, and then there's actually like a scanner that's kind of above you. So once you lay down, they actually lift the table up so that the scanner is right above, I would say like your lower abdomen, above your pelvic area. So I laid down, I got changed from the waist down, and I went on the table. When the doctor came in, he does lift the table all the way up so that the scanner is literally like your body is here and the scanner is like right here. It's touching your body. Then as when a woman gets a yearly pap smear, they do use forceps. So they insert the forceps and they open the forceps. And then what they do is they insert like kind of sort of like a catheter, and through that catheter they insert a needle. This needle, or should I say it's just kind of like a tube, what they do is they inject ink into your uterus, and they watch the flow of this ink. So in the actual image that's on the screen, it looks very dark, and the ink or the dye actually looks whitish. So they push the ink or the dye towards each side of your fallopian tubes to then see or watch the dye go up and out and around, up and through your fallopian tubes. So that's pretty much the procedure. It's called an HSG. Again, it's done when a woman is experiencing infertility and has found that she hasn't been able to conceive. That's one of the first tests that the doctor will recommend, that you check to see that there is no blockage in your fallopian tubes. As I said before, a few days ago, I did go through the procedure of having the HSG test done. And I will share with you all what my experience was. So of course I was nervous, and it's a little bit uncomfortable, especially with the forceps and then inserting things, you know, it's a little uncomfortable. So I'll say in the beginning I felt slight discomfort, kind of like a cramping, and you can definitely tell when the ink is being injected because you do feel a pressure. The pressure is kind of like a little bloating, I would say. So when the doctor first did it, I felt like a little pressure, and I felt like slight like bloating. Like, again, you can tell when the ink is, or the dye is being injected. So in the beginning, you know, that was my experience. I will say that towards the end, the procedure got pretty painful. Almost to the point where, I mean, I can't even say almost to the point. I was trying to not make noises or make any sound to show like that it hurt or that I was in pain. But the more I would kind of bite down and hold, you know, I was making noise. Inevitably I was making noise. I was trying to hold in the pain, and I could tell when he was pushed. Like, I can tell when it was being injected. And you know, there were times where I would feel mild pain and it would be like that. And then there were times where I felt more pain and more intense cramping, I would say. And then it got to the point where I actually like screamed out. And you know, you're embarrassed because you're like, oh my God, you know, you don't want to be loud, or you don't want to be screaming, or you don't want to walk out the door and feel like the whole waiting room has heard you. But it got pretty intense. And even with towards the end, I'm on the table, and like I said, I had two medical nurses or assistants that were there. And I, you know, again, I did let a loud pain hurl. And I even, like, you know, you're in pain when you like, I closed my eyes and like a tear was just like coming down my eyes because the pain was intense. So that was my experience. And I do want to share with you all that right after the procedure was done, before I even got up off the table, the doctor did share with me that I did have a blockage in my left fallopian tube, and that is the reason for the sense of pain. I didn't have any in my right, so I felt the pressure or bloating of the ink or the dye being injected when he first started, because it was in my right, he was testing my right fallopian tube, which flowed freely. So that's why I only really felt mild pressure due to the ink being injected. But the left had a blockage, and he was saying how when he first went towards my left fallopian tube, that it was kind of moving but just not freely flowing. So he was attempting to see with force, I guess, with constantly injecting it, if it would kind of flow. And again, he did find that I had a partial blockage. What he did say was that after the procedure, being that he had kind of was forcing the ink in my uterus through that tube, he actually did say that there are times where people have found to have conceived just after this procedure alone, because of them pushing the ink through. It actually kind of clears up a little bit of the blockage. Now again, it depends on where your blockage is, how I don't want to say how intense, but almost like the, you know, a blockage is usually caused from scar tissue. They don't really know what causes the actual, like what causes the actual blockage itself, but they did say it could be scar tissue. And you know, so depending on the location of the blockage, if it's closer to the uterus, is it in the middle of the tube, is it closer to the end? So he didn't give me the details on the specifics, and I'll have to get that from my doctor because she'll actually get the images, the x-ray and radiology images that he took. But pretty much what he said was that it was a partial blockage for me, and I felt that intense pain towards the end because he was pushing to see if he could get the ink through. So they don't just put, you know, they don't just casually put the ink there and watch. No, they're actually aiming to get that ink through. But again, depending on the thickness and the I guess concentratedness, I guess I could say, of that scar tissue that is causing the blockage, it depends, you know, it will determine you know, the likelihood of that procedure alone, you know, causing some remedy. And they did say that whatever blockage or whatever passage was cleared as a result of having this procedure, that it would probably last for about 2 to 3 months. So even the doctor said to me right then and there, you know, you will have mild bleeding and wait, you know, a few days before intercourse, but that you should try right after the procedure because you have like a likelihood of that clearing out the tubes. So I will say that that was my experience, and again, everyone's experience is different depending on what the issue is. If you have no issue with your tube, you will not have that pain. And you know, when it comes to fertility for women, I think we don't really realize the different steps and the components. You know, as a woman, you have 3 main areas of your reproductive system. You have your ovaries, you have your fallopian tubes, and you have your uterus. And I'm waiting to see back the blood results on my ovarian reserve. Fingers crossed, because I am 37 years old, that I still have a good reserve for my age. And then now we've made it to the second step of checking to see about my tubes, and the doctor pretty much told me, or the radiologist, I'm sorry, the radiologist did share that my pain was a result of me having a blockage. So my doctor should be getting back with me in a few days to kind of let me know exactly where the blockage was and what would be my options. I did look online and I did see that I could have a surgery to open up the blockage, but they did say that the blockage could grow back. And the one thing about a blockage in your fallopian tube is that you don't feel that. There is no indication or no sign that you have that a blockage is occurring. So, you know, imagine going through a procedure where you're getting something cleared and then you think that you're good to go, and you have no idea in a few months if it's still cleared or not. So he told me not to worry and just to wait for my doctor to follow back up with me and let me know exactly where the blockage was, and that what could be my next steps to overcome you know, this issue. Should I have surgery, or, you know, I don't know if there's any type of medicine I can take or any type of herbal supplement that I can take to try to clear that blockage. So again, I'm just patiently waiting with my fingers crossed to see what my doctor will say. It has been an interesting process so far. I made it through. Again, it was a little painful that day, so afterwards, as much as I did want to come and sit down and talk about the experience, I couldn't. Like I said, it was painful, and I guess I just was a little traumatized. So that was my experience. I hope this helps any of you out there that may come across this video. If you are interested or wondering what this procedure is like, I hope that my video would be able to help you and just encourage you, you know, to move forward in the process. If this is something that your doctor has recommended for you, go through with it. And you know, it's better to know what is going on than to not know. And you know, that way you can take proactive steps in achieving the goal that you desire, which in my case is to have a child. So that is my story. I hope that you all are encouraged. I thank everyone that has left me positive comments so far on my journey. It is definitely life-changing and life-altering, but I do believe that with every moment and every hardship and every trial, you know, that we are not the only one, and that our story can be used to encourage and to motivate and to edify all of those that are around us and the people that we meet each and every day. So till the next video, till the next update, I will see you all again. Bye.